What if Ryanair offered transatlantic flights? Ryanair has seen some amazing growth in the last decade and can take its passengers to some fairly exotic and distant destinations. Currently, Ryanair flies as far east as eastern Ukraine in the north and Lebanon, Jordan and Israel to the south. On the other side, in the west, we see the airline is flying as far west as the Azores archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean. With Ryanair set to operate a high-capacity version of the Boeing 737 MAX 8, what would transatlantic flights look like? If you didn't already know, Ryanair will be operating a special high-capacity, high-density version of the Boeing 737 MAX 8. This aircraft goes by the name 737 MAX 200 or 737-8-200. As you might imagine, carrying more passengers means more weight and, as a result, less range. The range of the 737 MAX 8 is 3,550 nautical miles. However, according to Flight Global, the range of the 8200 is only 2,700 nautical miles. This, unfortunately, significantly reduces how far into North America Ryanair could potentially take its passengers. If we use the fantastic mapping tool provided by Great Circle Mapper and input the 2,700 nautical mile range of the 737 MAX 200, we can see that a Ryanair flight could cross the Atlantic from airports like Dublin or London Stansted. However, the aircraft doesn't get too far due to its high-capacity seating configuration. From Dublin, only cities on the Canadian east coast are within reach. These include Halifax, Nova Scotia, St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. These are some great places to visit, more so in the summertime. But unfortunately, more diverse and exotic locales, no offence to our East Coast Canadian readers, such as Quebec City and Montreal, are just out of reach. The seat map, according to the Point Sky, is labelled a true nightmare. Of course, when you squeeze 200 passengers onto an aircraft of this size, you'll have to make sacrifices to seat width and pitch. We're talking as low as 28 inches for pitch. In fact, back in May 2017, there were leaks that American Airlines had plans to install 29-inch pitch on its new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. However, the backlash was so bad that the airline relented, installing a 30-inch pitch in its standard economy. As for lavatories, there are 3 tiny bathrooms for Ryanair's 197-200 passengers. 2 of these will be squeezed into the aircraft's back galley. We couldn't and wouldn't expect anything extra from Ryanair in terms of in-flight entertainment or included in-flight meals. Be prepared to pay for a tiny sandwich or bring your own food. Looking at current WestJet flights for Halifax-Dublin and Halifax-London-Gatwick, we can see that passengers would have to endure these conditions for a while. Flying Dublin to Halifax, we'd see flight times of 5 to 5.5 hours. Going from London, this is more like 5.5 to 6 hours. Unfortunately, because of Ryanair's high-capacity variant, the airline would not really be competing with the likes of JetBlue or Norwegian. If Ryanair were to switch up some of their 200s for the standard MAX 8, the story would be completely different, with major US cities on the East Coast within reach. Really, the only competition for these maritime capital cities is Canadian airline WestJet, which really only flies to London Gatwick and Dublin from Halifax with its Boeing 737-700. At least with WestJet, you're getting as much as 5 more inches of seat pitch. It's also possible that these destinations aren't very appealing to Europeans. On the Canadian side, it doesn't seem like there'd be enough demand for these smaller cities. At best, this could perhaps be a seasonal route in the summer. Perhaps with the right marketing, Ryanair could create enough demand for some of these routes.